Hello guys, welcome to my channel AK Tech Services. So in this video we are going to see how to make a chain and sprocket mechanism. As same as the previous mechanism video, which is a universal coupling, this same video is also going to contain three different sections. The first section we are going to see how to create a part levels. Then the second section we are going to make an assembly which is applicable to the mechanism. And in the third section we are going to see how the mechanism is going to be work. So without any delay, we'll get into the video. So guys, you can able to see a blank screen of Creo 8.0. So to create this mechanism, I'm going to use this. So initially, I'm going to create a new file, which is an assembly file. Click OK. In this, I would like to rename it as chain and sprocket mechanism. So this is the main assembly file which we are going to use in this. In this, I'm going to change the units as a millimeter Newton seconds and including all submodels. So this is done. Next, I'm going to create a skeleton file for this. So to create a skeleton file, I just click on the create command, selecting the skeleton model and click OK. This also I need to change it to the millimeter and Newton seconds. So let me change it first. Prepare model properties. 10 seconds. Yeah. So in skeleton model, I'm going to create a sketch where the root of the chain sprocket is going to be run. So to create that, I'm going to select a sketch command, selecting the front plane and click on the sketch button. So here I'm going to use two sprockets, which both the sprockets are in same diameter of 100 mm. And the total distances I'm going to consider as 210, where 105 on each side. This center distance will vary in the end when we connect the chains. Let's see in the next turn. Next, I'm going to connect this with the tangent lines. I'm going to remove all the unwanted lines. So this is the path of the chain sprocket which we are going to use it for the mechanism. And just click OK here. Next, we are going back to the mechanism assembly and I'm going to create a part for the chain. This I'm going to use it as a part 1, or let me consider as chain 1 and click OK. I'm going to change the properties as millimeter Newton second. And then close this. Now I'm going to click on extrude command, select the front plane and move to sketch view. Here I'm going to have two circles in same diameter value of 7.5 and the center distance is 10 on each side. So this is a sketch of the circle where I have two circles with 7.5 mm as a diameter and 10 mm as a distance from the center line. I'm going to extrude this in a symmetrical way for the total distance of 14 mm. So the next I'm going to create another extrude in the side surface of this circle with the reference of it. One circle for same diameter, another circle is for 12 mm diameter. The same way I'm going to follow for the right hand side as well. One circle is for the same diameter, another circle is for 12 mm diameter. Now I'm going to interconnect these two circles with a horizontal straight line with the length of, instead of going with the length, I would like to have a mirror one. So select this, mirror this to the mid plane. Now the center distance between these two lines should be like 7 mm. Next I'm going to have a fillet in all four corners. And I'm going to make this into equal value. Equal to equal. And this also to be as equal. And this is also equal. So the radius value, I'm going to consider it as 5 mm. Now I'm going to remove all the unwanted lines here. And make sure the sketch is completely constrained. So just click OK here, and this extrude length is for 1 mm. So here we can able to see the extrude is done Now I'm going to measure the distance between the surface to the surface would be as of 14. Yeah. So I need this extrude to be flipped to the opposite direction. And as well, I'm going to mirror this extrude to the opposite right hand side with the help of the mid plane. And now I'm going to measure the distance between these two surfaces. This is 12 mm. So this looks fine. Next we are going to create a second part, which is chain 2. To that I'm going to create a new file, renaming it as chain 2 and click OK. So in chain 2 also I'm going to change the properties as millimeter Newton second, set, and click OK. So here I'm going to create an extrude in the front plane directly. The same way I'm going to follow what we did in the previous part of second extrude. The internal diameter as 7.5 mm, external diameter as 12 mm, and the center distance is 10. The same way I'm going to mirror in the opposite side and interconnecting these two external circles with the center distance of 7 mm. As well as I'm going to have a fillet radius on these edges. For the equal value, equal to equal, equal, equal. So this radius is going to be as a value of 5 mm. And I'm going to delete all the unwanted lines here. And make sure it is being perfectly shined. So this extrude value also will be as 1. And I'm going to have a plane from here to here in 5 mm distance. And I'm going to mirror this to the opposite side. So the outside surface to outside surface distance wants to be as a 12 mm, which is the inside surface distance for the chain 1. So this is how the chain 2 has been created. Now the only pending thing is to create a points between the edges. So I'm going to select this point, selecting the axis and selecting this mid plane. So a point will be generated exactly at the axis line in the mid of this area. The same way for the back side. These 2 points are going to be used in the assembly level to give assemble connections. As the same, we are going to follow the same method in chain 1 also. So in chain 1, select the axis, select the plane, click OK. Same way for the back end side, select the axis, select the plane, and click OK. So here also 2 points has been created, and in chain 2 also 2 points has been created. So the next I'm going to create, going back to the assemblies. In assembly 1, sorry. So next I'm going back to the assembly, which is chain and sprocket assembly 1. Here I'm going to assemble the chains first, then we are going to make the model for these sprockets. So to assemble the chain, I'm going to click on the assembly button. In session, I'm going to select the chain 1. So in chain 1, I would like to disable all the planes and axis lines. I'm going to enable only the points. Even the points is not required, we can drag it from the model tree. So the user connection we are going to use as a slot. So please make sure when you're making a slot connection, the chain sprocket chains will be rotate in the path which we have defined. So I'm going to select the first point. Along with that, I'm going to select all these 4 lines. Same way, going to have a new set of connection in same slot type, selecting the second point, and I'm going to give connection for the same all 4 lines. So this is how the first connection is going to be. In case if I click on OK and click on the drag components, you can able to see the chain is tilting in the x-axis, which is not required for us. To constrain this degree of freedom, I'm going to arrest this with the plane. So for that, click on a new connection, select as general, and constrain it with the plane which is to the front in parallel way. So in this type of connection, we can able to arrest that particular degree of freedom, and you can check now it does have any other axis, only it will be rotates on the path which we have defined as a slot connection. To connect the second chain, I'm going to select it from chain 2. In chain 2 also we are going to have a slot connection first, where we have two different points. Select the first point and select all the lines in the skeleton. As the same, click on the new set. Once again select the second point and give connection to all the lines from the skeleton. Now the third connection which we are going to give here is a pin type connection. Select the pin, and we are going to have a connection between the center of this circle to here, as well as the surface in the translation here to here as a coincidence. So now you can able to see the first set of connections between chain 1 and chain 2 has been done. The first chain 1 has been connection with slot and general to arrest the tilt motion, and for chain 2 we have slot and pin connection to connect with the path as well as to the chain 1 part. So this is how the first set of chain connection has been done. Please repeat this for multiple times until you have completed the entire sketch of the path. So just for the time being, I'm going to make it as a fast forward. Please watch till the end. yes, as we have seen here, we have connected all the chain links, but there is a slight mismatch here. To obtain this, we are going to modify the sketch which we have drawn in the skeleton level. So the gap distance is 3.87 mm. So we are going to reduce half of the value in that. We'll reduce it in this side. So now after regenerating the model, we can able to see the chains are got linked in very good way, and there is no any gaps between or no any mismatches here. So this is the final model of this chains. Next, the part which we are going to create here is a sprocket one. So to create a sprocket, I'm going to create a new part and I'm going to name it as sprocket. Click enter, and this sprocket also I'm going to change the model properties as millimeter newton and second. Set, click OK, and I'm going to assemble this sprocket assembly inside the main assembly as a user as a default one as of now. Just to make this, later we are going to make a connection for that as well. I'll just make it activate here. I'll click on the extrude command and then extrude in front view. Here I'm going to create a sprocket where my internal diameter will be as equal as 90. Yeah, so I'll just click OK here and I'll extrude it in symmetrical way for the distance of 10 mm. The next I'm going to have a teeth in the sprockets, so that I'm going to click on extrude once again. I'm extruding the inner circle ones as well as the outer circle one. The outer circle diameter is going to be as 113.233, which is the same value which is going to get tangent with the circle of this. Next I'm going to have a teeth. Teeth thickness is going to be 2 mm. This angle is going to be as 15. Opposite side is also going to be as a 15. Now I'm going to delete all the unwanted lines here. Now I'm going to have a fillet radius at the top corner for the value of 2 on both sides. So just click OK here. This is also going to be of extrude of 10 mm in opposite direction. Next I'm going to have a edge radius with radius of 5, and now I'm going to extrude this. Sorry, I'm going to pattern this extrude based on the axis pattern. I'm going to have 28 teeth. Though the value is getting larger, let me reduce the number of teeth to 20. Even more, we can reduce the number of teeth since the gap is very minimal. So I'm going to have 14. Yeah, next I'm going to have the round is also to be as a pattern with the reference pattern. And I hope you can increase as 15. So the teeth engage also will be very fine in fine way. So next we are going to let me increase it for 16. Yes, this looks fine. So please make sure whenever you're going to make a chain and sprocket mechanism, please make with the proper dimensions. Just for a tutorial, I'm having my own independent dimensions, but whenever you're making a dimensions, please make sure you're having a proper dimensions. Next I'm going to make a shaft hole which is for the diameter of 45 with a key slot with a thickness of 5. and I'm going to delete the unwater lines here. We'll have just 7 here. Click OK, revert the material direction, and it will be remove the material. As well as I'm going to have another extrude where we are going to have some stiffening holes to increase the strength of the sprocket. So for that I'm going to have a center line and also a circle in a construction line as a PCD of radius 36, 35, and I'm going to have 4 different holes with the same size on 4 different angles. The diameter is, I'm going to have it as 4, 7, just click OK, and this is also going to be revert material and the material is going to be removed. So this is how sprocket has been made. Now we are going to make a engineering connection for sprocket. As for the beginning we have made it as a default one, but now we are going to have it with the pin connection. So for that I'm going to enable this, and also I'm going to enable a plane. This distance should be as equal as to the center distance here. This is 102.62845. The same way, to the same distance I'm going to have a plane here, as well as in the opposite direction. The opposite direction distance is considering as 101.5. 101.5. For the same distance I'm going to have another plane here in the right hand side, which is the value is 101.5. So now we are going to have an axis to have a pin connection in this way for the side plane and the top plane, so that we'll get an axis in towards the front direction. So I'm going to have two different axes where we are going to place two different sprockets. Let me activate all those parts, and here I'm going to enable only the axis. Now we are going to make connection for the sprocket. Delete this and click on pin connection. So the axis alignments will be making between the axis of sprocket to the axis which we have created, and also we are going to have a plane connection here where the front plane of sprocket is going to get connected with front plane of assembly. So the sprocket has been assembled. In the same way we are going to reassemble the sprocket to the opposite direction. If it is possible you can just make it a mirror. Okay, mirror is not possible, so I'm going to reassemble the sprocket once again to this assembly in the same way of pin connection with the constraints between axis and planes. So switching to pin connection, select the axis of the sprocket and select the right hand side of the axis which we have created in assembly. The second translation connection is between the planes from front plane of sprocket to front plane of assembly. So we can just click OK here. As we can see here we have created the chain and sprocket mechanism, and the sprocket teeth are also perfectly engaging with the chain teeth. For a better understanding, I'm going to make a sprocket into a different color like yellow or steel kind of thing. So for sprocket, I'm going to use yellow color. I like to close all other remaining parts which is not applicable as of now. For the chain 1, I'm going to use a different color which is kind of a steel, and for chain 2 I'm going to use another different color which would be like a contrasted to one, black. Oh, but I would like to change the color of chain 1 as of now. Let me chain 1 also to be as a black. So here we have created a chain colors, and the chain teeth, sprocket teeth, everything is perfectly matching. So the final thing is only to make a mechanism. So as of now, the two sections of video has been completed. The one is part creations and the second one is assemblies, and you guys are aware about it. The third thing, we are going to make a mechanism here. To have a mechanism, we are going to switch to application workbench. So we are going to click on the mechanism, and in mechanism, since it is a belt drive or a kind of a chain and sprocket drive, we are going to use belt system first. To create a belt system, we are going to select the belts in this, and we are going to select two different surfaces from one sprocket to another. So it will define the how much wraps has been connected and whether the axis system are coincidence, and it will show how much newton of stiffness is going to create in this chain and sprocket mechanism. So just click OK here. Next we are going to assign the servo motors for the chains. For the first servo motor, we are going to have a connection of slot connection, and in profile details we are going to select a velocity. For the velocity, this value of 25 mm per second. So you can just click OK here. The second servo motor, we are going to assign it for the sprocket with the same details of angular velocity and the value of 25 degrees of freedom. So I just move to the front view, and here you're going to see how the chain and sprocket mechanism is going to work. So just click on run, and here it goes. So I hope you guys you have enjoyed the video. So if you enjoyed the video, please like, comment and share. Please subscribe to my channel as well, so you will get a furthermore cat videos and tutorials. So thank you guys, thank you for watching, and please subscribe and keep following. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.